Moments ago, President Trump posted on social media that the U.S. military carried out a second strike targeting drug cartels that he says were transporting illegal narcotics to the U.S. The president also posting this video. It follows a similar strike carried out earlier this month in the southern Caribbean, and it comes as the Trump administration looks to ramp up pressure on the Maduro regime in Venezuela. Joining me now is NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Cubie, and Monica Alba is back with us. She's still outside the White House. So, Courtney, I'll come to you. What more do we know about this strike?
So far, all we really know is what President Trump posted on Truth Social. He said that this was the second strike, as you mentioned, Jamish. 3 males, he says, who had left Venezuela, who he claims were narco traffickers. He calls them specifically terrorists. He says were killed in action. This is the second strike, as you mentioned, in just under a week. Last Tuesday, the U.S. military taking another strike that killed, in that case, 11 individuals who the U.S. claimed were part of a cartel known as Tren de Aragua. Of course, the U.S. placed TDA under a foreign terrorist organization designation earlier this year. But that strike has raised a lot of legal questions about the U.S.'s ability, their legal authority to strike at a boat like this. Since then, we have heard from a number of different Trump administration officials about that very issue, defending it. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth saying that he has the ultimate authority, complete and total authority, to carry out these sorts of strikes. But that being said, Yamish, we have gotten very little fidelity or detail about exactly what happened in this strike, including exactly how long the U.S. was watching the individuals in the strike last week, exactly what kind of aircraft carried it out. And even Capitol Hill has not gotten answers to all of their questions, including the legal authority. I suspect that, as you're seeing on the screen here today, right now, this second strike is going to raise similar questions about whether the Trump administration has the ability, as they say, to be striking these boats. Remember, right after the first one last week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that it was probably headed to the Caribbean, maybe headed to the U.S. They've changed that talking point as well, now saying more specifically that they believe these drugs are headed to the United States and present a direct threat to the American public.
Well, a lot of questions, especially when you talk about the legal authority here. Monica, what should we make of the president's decision to increasingly go after drug cartels in this specific way?
Yeah, this is something that the president says he's also going to continue to do. In this lengthy post, he also says and notes, by the way, that no U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. But he says, with a large warning in capital letters, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you. That's the language that the president is using, saying that the illicit activities by these cartels have brought devastating consequences on American communities for decades, killing millions of American citizens. The president writing, no longer. And we know, Yamish, that he is supposed to be having an event coming up where he is signing a proclamation, we believe on a separate topic, not related to this, but as you know so well, he often takes questions in these settings in the Oval Office. And since this is something that has just happened today, it's likely he may want to talk about it more. But I would expect this is something that the White House says they will continue to do if the president authorizes it, because he does want to be sure to, from not just a messaging standpoint, send a very direct, clear message to the Maduro regime and to anyone else, he says, that will be bringing illegal drugs to the U.S.
And Monica, as you say that he wants to send this message to the Maduro regime, is this really all about really forcing a regime change? Does the White House believe that these kinds of strikes could lead to Maduro's ouster?
I think it's part of the pressure, certainly, that the White House is applying. But diplomatically, they are saying that first they want to continue these conversations, but that the president has always said that when he chooses to and wants to act, he will.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.